All right. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Inventors and Entrepreneurs Club. I am Mark Nelson. I will be your host and running the master control. We have Jordan Zeller. He'll be my backup and my co-host here tonight. Just a little bit about the Inventors and Entrepreneurs Club. We don't charge any fees. We don't charge any memberships. We have some generous support from organizations around our area that have made this possible. And once again, we are coming to you virtual, unfortunately. We do like the live interaction, but we do meet the fourth Tuesday of every month at 6 o'clock. Our mission is to help any entrepreneurs and inventors, especially those that are just starting out. We have a good slate here today from business advice from people with real world experience. First up, we'll have Dick Jordan, SCORE counselor, and after that, we'll hear from Linda Lytala, and she will be providing some advice on selling your business, which many people are looking at doing. They're hitting that age where it's time to retire, time to get out. So we look forward to that. We'll also do introductions at some point. Coming into this, I was thinking that we would probably start off with that, but I'm changing my mind. I think we'll maybe take a break between the two speakers and maybe do that if everybody's so inclined. If you are not muted, please make sure to mute yourself or Jordan will mute you. He has that power. And just while the speakers are presenting, I found, especially in Zoom meetings, that, if everybody turns their cameras off, then your focus is on the speaker. I don't know about you, but somebody reaches up to scratch their head and I catch that out of the corner of my eye and I lose focus on the speaker for just a second. So while there's, as much as I like seeing the happy smiling faces and the nodding heads, while the speakers are presenting, let's be polite and just shut our cameras off. Also, at the bottom of your screen, if you're not real familiar with Zoom, there is a chat button. I will be monitoring the chat, so please ask your questions through the chat, and I will facilitate those questions as necessary. So first up, we're going to hear from Dick Jordan. He leads the Central Minnesota chapter of SCORE, and he is a volunteer-based entrepreneur mentorship program. As a business owner, president and CEO, general manager, and consultant, that's a lot to put on a name tag, Dick. You're still on mute. Jordan might have hit you on mute. Unmute yourself.
I was saying, when you're as old as I am, you get to do a lot of things.
Well, that is a heck of a lot to put on a resume as well as a name tag. But Dick has helped many businesses develop, implement, and achieve success from developing and using strategic plans, business plans, and tactical actions. Huh? Dick, the floor is yours. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. Jordan, can we get that screen up? So I want to share screen. And what am I going to do? There we go. SCORE does consider its purpose to be for the life of the business. We do start with people just starting up. We go further all the way through mentoring and helping any we can. And then, as Linda could tell you, you come to the point where it's time to transition out of your business. And I've had probably in the last couple of years, 4 or 5 businesses that we've helped go through that transition. And I went through it myself with my business. And it takes time. But SCORE has, let me see if I can get this thing going. What am I doing wrong? Let's go to the next chapter. Next, there. SCORE was started in 1964. Actually, it started in Minnesota. It started in Minneapolis, There was an executive retiring out of one of the big companies. I think it was either Honeywell or one of the General Mills or something. And he went to his ex-boss and said, well, I'm off to the golf course. The guy said, no, you're not. He said, I got something for you to do. And he kind of started working with the small businesses around our country, around our city. And the thing grew and grew. And let's see if I can get to the next one. Why am I not getting to the next? I should have gone to school. There we go. Now it's throughout the country. There's probably over 350, 400 mentors, and I think it's something they have 500 different industries or talents within industries and such. And one of the things I've done, and we do a lot of co-mentoring, and I go around and ask for help from other people. I had a guy in York, Pennsylvania help me with doing a survey for one of the companies I was working with, a market survey. I called a guy who got worked up with a square mentor in Kansas City that helped me with some insurance issues. A guy in Grand Rapids, Michigan helped me with human relations issue, actually helped the client. And I've got a fellow I'm working with now out of Wisconsin, working with a handicapped veteran that has just started working with his dad's property to turn it into a cattle farm. So they're all over the place, and there's really a lot of talent out there. Another one I'm working with is in the Northeast, and we're working with a young lady that's going to start, she and her husband are going to start a restaurant up in Superior in June. And this fella, career was spent starting up restaurants. So he's been a wonderful help. And but SCORE has been very effective. Can we go to the next one, Jordan? I think you're in control. We keep records of how much we're doing. It's pretty interesting that 45,000 new businesses, and of course, the small business is really the heart of our country. This is where the new ideas come from, and this is where new jobs are created. It's great. And let's go to the next one. We'll show you what we're doing with our little chapter. In 2020, we had some pretty good luck. We got new business started, and this is in fact when you had the COVID and people were locked up. And we've got a lot of good stuff. And what we do, and Jordan, can you go down to the next slide? SCORE does a lot of things. We will, if you look, I've got it to my left, we do a lot of mentoring and thousands of hours mentoring. I probably, on my best year, I did 90 clients in 1 year. And it was wonderful meeting all those people. And I learned as much as they learn from SCORE. They have a lot of training and webinars and such, and a lot of resources, not just in SCORE. We have resources that we share with other people. So what's next, George? And they don't have to go it alone. There's no restriction in how much time we can spend with the mentor. And mentors are allowed to have, or not mentors, the clients are allowed to have up to 3 mentors. And if you don't like the mentor you have, you can change mentors without any penalty. And the workshops are great. I tap into the workshops myself. I had one that I pulled out of New Hampshire that had to do with 5 sessions on starting your business. There was another one out of Cleveland, again, 5 steps or 5 different programs that dealt with developing a marketing plan and putting it into place. And one of my favorites that I want to talk about further on is online resources, because it's amazing how many resources are out there. Okay, Jordan, if you would. Next. Yeah, mentoring is free. And I think, we have no restrictions on who we can work with. I know SBDC, without special permission, can't work with nonprofits. We can, and I do work with some nonprofits. And But it's really, and as I told Linda earlier on in the group, we have with people going with transitioning out of their business. And we kind of think that's about a 5-year plan. And having transitioned out of my own business, we had a family council, and we figured it took 5 years to get the kids and the family in line to build it up. And Pete Nelson, who used to be with SBDC, and Brader and I put on a session on transitioning out of your business. And we did that. Jordan, I think we came down and did that for you, didn't we? I'm not sure. But next one, Jordan. So mentoring is free, and we do every year have to sign a non-compete and well, it's an ethics thing. We can't take any money either way. You know, we get away with having coffee or dinner with somebody once in a while, but basically we're not allowed to take anything. So again, we are with every business. We do, as I say, we draw from a lot of different sources, a lot of different mentors, and we are certified. We have to be certified, a mentor has to go through some classes. There's 9 different classes, and then they have to co-mentor 3 different clients with a certified mentor, and then they go out on their own, but then they co-mentor a little bit to where they're comfortable. And the bottom part is right. We don't do the client's work because that's not fair to the client. They have to learn. They're the ones that have to run their business, and they're the ones that have to commit their funds and their time to what happens. But we do stay with them, and you know, we do listen. We're trained to listen. We're trained not to be judgmental, and a lot of us learned that in our own businesses as we came through. But then to ask the question, what are you going to do, and what are the priorities, and how can we help you and bring in the resources? Okay, Jordan, let's go to the next one, if you would, please. There's a lot of benefits, and I'd like to talk more about this as we get further on. I've got some success stories. I went on an ego trip and brought in some testimonials that people were good enough to give me. And I'd like to talk about how we worked with them and how that progressed. I think that'll give you a better idea how SCORE can really help, because I do no different than the other SCORE mentor. Okay, what's next, Jordan? Yep, the resource library. I want to talk about that. I've got a separate slide, I think, on that, but the resource library is great. There's databases, there's people that will help you learn it, and it's amazing the amount of information. And I'll talk about that here, because when I go into the Hennepin County Library, their outlying services, there's 3 or 4 resources that I tap into, and I'd like to share with you some of the stuff you can pull out of that. Jordan, let's go to the next one, if you would. Now, this is another one too. Legal Corps is an organization down in, maybe Mark, you already know about this from having your Inventors. I've had, they do free mentoring. They'll get up to 40 hours of free mentoring. They're pro bono, and they work with small businesses and startups. And I use them for a lot of different reasons, but I've got in there with people to protect their intellectual property. And 2 of my clients have actually gotten their patents through Legal Corps, and it was at no cost. I think what they might have to do the drawings and such to help the lawyer, but boy, they are good and they're fast. And the woman that runs is Sarah Lewis, and she does the coordination and scheduling. And there are ways that you can get a hold of them through phone or for virtual from up here, so you don't have to go down there. Some SBDC offices have phones that you can have a meeting with them, and they'll go up to 40 hours with you, and they're great. And if you run into other problems that they can't handle, they'll refer you to lawyers that can, such things as lawsuits and that kind of stuff. But that's a wonderful organization. Okay, what's next? Yep, we have 4 chapters. Twin Cities used to have 3 chapters, but they've combined into one now. The Central Minnesota chapter, we handle the territory, probably, you talked about Princeton earlier on, but it's probably from Princeton, Elk River, all the way up to the north end on each side, and then we go across the top of Wisconsin over to the Michigan border. And that's great. So, but we're going right now, we're trying to start a new branch in Duluth up in the Twin Ports. I've got 3 or 4 clients up there, and they used to have 3 chapters in that, but they lost them because people retired and they didn't have succession planning, which we preach to other clients. Okay, Jordan, what's next? If I'm going too fast, let me know. Ask a question anytime. These are our branches, and as I just said, we're working on getting Duluth Twin Ports set up, and I think they're trying to get one out of central Minnesota to over, I don't know what town it is, but one of the people at district is working on that, and that should come on board this year too. That'll be great. Okay, next. Testimonials. Now this is where I go on my ego trip. The sisters, Franciscan Sisters of Little Falls, that's kind of sad. Those people, the nuns are getting old. They're not getting a lot of new nuns coming in. So they're phasing out. They're going through transition out. And they have 2 missions there. One is for music classes for kids. The other is health club. And what they're doing is they're going through that transition, and they're putting those into nonprofits and setting up a board and such to run that. The other is Arctic Compressor. That's a company up in Superior, Wisconsin, and they're going through transition. Their son has just taken over the business, and they're just starting developing a strategic plan and going forward. And they've had 2 years of growth since they made that change. And this is going to be another record year. I just had a Zoom meeting with them today. We meet about once a month, and it's fantastic. The son was afraid to take over the business, and we have a board that includes the parents plus SCORE and plus Andy Donahue out of SBDC in Wisconsin up there, Superior, and it's worked real well. And one of the things we do, the guy's name is Stephen Potter, that's the president. Every time we work with him, we always leave, what are your 3 major goals for the next month or our next meeting? And that's really fantastic. The other one is Howerson Wood Products. And that's the company that I started working with. I was referred to them from a bank, and it started over there were 2 people there, and one had to go, and it wasn't the fellow that owned the business, it was somebody hired that was really causing problems. And the owner is Glenn Howerson, as you might guess. Howerson is the name. He invented the product, and we set up with him. We said 3 things. We started off with, what's the vision? What's this company going to look like in 5 years? And I pulled on my history. My first job in industry was for Hexel Corporation, which was owned by 5 people, and they just brought in a president. And he said, we're going to grow 15% sales and profit for the next 5 years. And at the end of 5 years, you'll all be millionaires. And he made it happen. It was fun to watch and fun to be there for that. So I talked to Glenn. I said, Glenn, let's do the same thing, but I got greedy and went 20 and 20. Let's have 20% growth and profit growth every year consistently. And then the second thing we talked about is his mission. And what is his mission? Why is he in business? And years ago, I was in a program, Profit Improvement Through Market Strategy. That came out of GE, went into Harvard, then came off on its own. And one of the things they learned there is that a company can only be good in one thing. You can't be good in design and marketing and manufacturing because the personalities of the company are always based on the owner, and he's got the personality. Well, Glenn is an inventor. He's invented a lot of stuff. So we said, okay, you're going to be a design company. We're going to have this set up and do strategic planning on the basis of a design company. And then we talked about culture, and we built a culture around Glenn. He's a very religious man, a very decent man, high school dropout. And we talk about culture when he hires people, and he's put together a wonderful team, and he's been growing for the last 5 years over 20% a year. He's just put in they're in the process of building a new building for that's 60 by 200 feet. He's going to put his assembly into that. And we brought in a plasma cutter. We brought in a press, and we brought in welders. And he was putting that out. He was going to vendors for that. And we brought that into the company. And that really helped with the profitability. And I meet with Glenn at least once a week and probably talk to him 2 other times. And the company is growing, and it's, and I talked on earlier about bringing in other mentors. One of the things we've done there, we had 2 mentors out of Minnesota, out of Minneapolis come in that helped with marketing and sales. We brought another guy in from our branch or our chapter that was running the Pepsi organization up here, and he helped in marketing. And then we did a market survey for them, and I used a mentor out of York, Pennsylvania for that. And then we have a new fella out of, he's out of the cities too, that's working. They just hired a young lady to be their marketing person, and she's a little bit new. So there's a score mentor down the city that said he would train her. So that's really worked out very, very well. And I think that's the beauty of being a score mentor, to see people like this be successful and grow. And we showed the new jobs, but my college major was economics. And one of the ground rules were, for every dollar a business invests or spends in their community is multiplied by 3. And so, Glenn's gone from 2 employees, I think he has 24 now. And if you think of his payroll and what's that doing, and he buys local, he's really had a major impact. All of them have. Arctic does the same thing. They've added people. And so it's really magnificent to see what goes on. So I really love those testimonials. And if you go into our website, there's hundreds of testimonials, and it's fun to watch. Now, the last thing, and this is the last slide, when we start out working with new businesses or people that just go, we use this form. This is called a business model canvas, and it hits the major points. And after we work with the entrepreneurs on this, it will develop into a business plan. And that business plan then is what they'll use if they have to go out to get a loan. But a business plan really is written for yourself, and it lays down the ground rules. And the 2 things we try to focus on is, and I talked about that, we have the mission and the vision and your culture. And that's number 2. And we really like people to spend time really dealing with that. And one of the things I didn't tell you about Glenn and a few others, we do strategic planning with them, and that's part of what we try to do here. Then you go into your target customers. Who are your customers? And this is the beauty of some of our resources. There's one that's called Resource Solutions that is a database that we can get out of the Hennepin County Library. And they use a census report, and you can go in and find customers. You know who your customers are. You can find their location using their standard industrial classification code. You can find out who the buyers are. You can find out who the owners are. You get their addresses and such. You can sometimes find out their financial data, and you can find out a lot. And then you can define, where's your market and how you're going to approach that. And then you go through that, who are your top people that you need? Who are your resource people? And that would be your banker. It could be your lawyer. It could be your accountant. It could be your SCORE mentor. It could be your SBDC person who will help you do a beautiful job of putting together your loan package. Could be everything. And then number 5 is we try to do initial sketches to get an idea of the cash flow, then how much investment you have to put into the business, and do a pro forma profit and loss and balance sheet to really see if you can make the thing fund. And then how do you go about putting it all together? And then you stay and work with them. And that's basically what we do. And SBA is, we partner with SBA, and we get all of our funding, that's not fair, most of our funding out of Congress, out of thing, but we do get outside funding, and we're very fortunate up here in our chapter. We have received this last year alone over $40,000 to use to develop our territory, which is magnificent. And I've left as the last slide our contact information. Either you can go to score.org, or you can reach me through the Brainerd SCORE or the Central Minnesota SCORE website, or I've got down there my phone number and contact information. So thank you for the opportunity to really make this presentation, because I love working for SCORE, and I love working with so many wonderful people. Any questions?
There are.
Good.
Linda Lytala will not let anybody talk without at least having one question. I can always and I welcome everybody to come back off the muted cameras now, so that Dick can see your faces while he answers your questions. Also remind you to type in your questions now in the chat for Dick. So a very good question, Linda, and actually one that first came to my mind, although it was on his last slide there, is how does a business contact a SCORE counselor?
Yes, just go to score.org, and there's a section in there that says find a mentor. You can either do it by putting down your zip code. I sometimes go in, and this is how I find some of the mentors. You can go in, and I think it's the middle one, and you can say, I want a mentor, and you put the mentor's name down, or you can put down what specifically you're looking for. Like, I want help in sales, I want help in insurance, and you'll get profiles of mentors, and you can kind of find them. But the best thing to do is go to your local chapter. You can find that.
So do we get to pick mentors, or?
You'll get a mentor assigned, and we have 48 hours. And I do both local and national mentoring. And we have 48 hours to respond. And if we don't respond in 48 hours, they'll reassign it. And they'll keep reassigning it out of national, which is in Virginia, up by Washington. They'll reassign it till they get somebody. And if you don't like the mentor you're working with, you don't feel it's the right mix, you can ask for other mentors.
Okay. Recently, I've been getting quite a few emails from SCORE that announce webinars. They got a lot of webinars that are free.
Yes. And templates, they have a lot of good templates. And we're going through some changes in our chapter, and we lost our chapter chair for personal reasons. He had to leave, but we restructured, and we just developed our new website, and we're working on that, and it's being financed locally by a gift. And we have not had our own webinars and such, so we've tapped into the Twin Cities, and they're sharing their webinars and their messages with us, and you can really get a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you can. I've actually, myself and my team have participated in quite a few of them, and they have been really, really good.
Yeah.
So do you work with people starting a demolition business?
Yeah, actually I didn't work with them, but there was a demolition started up here in Brainerd. I think it was over on the old railroad area. And they tear up cars and such, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And if
So-
I don't know enough about it to help the person, I'll find somebody that does.
Sure. So you, I was really pleased in your presentation that you announced your work in the Superior area about 4 or 5, 6 times.
Uh-huh.
And so there's a couple people in the room here that actually know this, but up until 6 years ago, I was a lifelong Superior resident.
Oh boy. Well, they're nice people. I
What can I say?
like the Duluth Superior. I really do.
What can I say?
You say you're right.
Apparently you didn't run with some of the crowd I did because you changed your tune. So
No, I didn't.
yeah. So Dick, you're going to hang around yet in case there's further questions?
I'd like to, yes.
Okay,
I'll
great.
mute and turn off my video. And again, thank you for the opportunity to share SCORE with you.
No, thank you, Dick. That was very enlightening. I really do appreciate it.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
as promised, oh, Nancy's got her hand raised. Oh, hey, Nancy's clapping. Yay. Sorry, I forgot. Yep. So as promised at the top of the hour, I'm gonna hit some names here, and if you would, if your camera's off, turn it on. If you're muted, please unmute yourself. I believe Jordan, they have the ability, or you got all the masters. Okay, you have the ability to unmute yourself. But we'll do a quick round of introductions, and I'm actually going to start. I'm going to actually start with Nancy Hoffman because I know Nancy's probably got to go at some point. And in case these get a little long, we'll try to just keep it brief. Tell us who you are, why you're here, and you have to tell us your most used emoji that you use in texting. Nancy, go.
Oh, boy. Nancy Hoffman, I'm the Executive Director of the Chisago County HRA EDA, and we also have a small business development center. So we provide those services as well. And we're actually hiring a new person to come in and work with us on the restaurant revitalization grants to help our local businesses. And I'm hoping she can stay on and do some more SBDC work after that. You know what? I don't use emojis, so I'd have to say smiley face.
All right. Thanks, Nancy. Patrick Donahue, good to see you again, sir.
Great to be here. Yeah, it's fun to see everybody. Patrick Donahue, Hill Capital Corporation. We invest in businesses throughout the region. We're closing a deal in a couple weeks here that's actually a service corporation, healthcare services. So building a diverse portfolio. It's pretty cool to see this continue to come together, and grateful for all the friendships and the connections throughout the region. And then also 1 Million Cups. If there's anybody that ever has anybody that would like to present, I'm one of the community organizers for 1 Million Cups Eden Prairie. So highly recommend people tapping into that, because for the foreseeable future, it continues to be on Zoom. And so we've had a number of people that have gone on 1 Million Cup road shows throughout the nation, which I highly recommend. And then favorite emoji, I don't know. I kind of agree with Nancy. I don't know. It's probably something weird like a turkey or a pickle or a shamrock or something like that. But usually it's just a smiley face.
So Patrick, before you go back on mute, did I understand you correctly that you have 1 Million Cups presenters that would consider presenting here with us?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And I know Jordan, Jordan's been to 1 Million Cups a number of times. And so we're always cross-pollinating and connecting dots, that's for sure. And a matter of fact, why don't, on 1 Million Cup Seed and Prairie, if we want to put the logo for, if there's a logo, or maybe it's just East Central Regional Economic Development logo or whatever would connect to the Inventors and Innovators Club, Entrepreneurs Club, we could put that on there and link to it so people that come to the website know about it.
Yeah.
So Jordan, maybe you could follow up and just give me whatever the right logo and link would be. I can put that on there.
Would you be so kind as to send Mr. Zeller a quick email and try and connect? Because I know we reached out to several people for this month and you know, lack of response and no's and whatnot. Not that we didn't get 2 good speakers, but you know, it seems like we're always looking for speakers and ideas, and try and get planned out ahead of time is sometimes tough.
Yeah, and don't like with 1 Million Cups, there was a period where we had like 15, 20 speakers lined up, and then like the last month, like especially kind of at spring break time, like the pipeline completely went dry, and we've only had, you know, 9, 10 people on our weekly calls when usually we have 20. So yeah, just recently I think with spring breaks, and I don't know, I think people are zoomed out too. So
Some days I am.
yeah.
All right. Well, Patrick, good to see you again. I appreciate it. I know you stopped here at East Central once or twice, and
Yeah, I made that. I have a couple times. I remember one trip I made it up and then cut over to or somewhere. My son was playing soccer, so it worked out pretty slick. So
awesome. Good to have you back. Michelle Thomas.
Hello, Michelle Thomas. I am the new resiliency coordinator with the East Central Regional Development Commission. Started in the end of September. And I think the emoji I use the most is the thumbs up.
You're with me.
Yeah, because it's kind of like an okay, I got it.
Yep.
Just acknowledgement.
Awesome. Thank you. Donna Rausch.
Yes. Oops, fix my camera here.
Good to see you again.
Yeah. I wanted to thank Dick Jordan because he frequently sends small businesses and inventors to Legal Corps. I am the Inventor Assistance Program Manager for Legal Corps, so I was especially happy to see that he gave us the plug for the service that we provide. And my favorite emoji to use, and here's a real confession, it doesn't always work right, but I like the celebration one where all of the confetti flies, but I don't know what makes the confetti fly. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. So I don't know if there are 2 different ones that are really similar and I just really don't know what I'm doing or what the deal is, but that's my favorite one to use.
All right. Thank you, Donna. Heidi, you can't escape me.
Yeah, nope. So I am the Kanabec County EDA director, but I'm a 1-person shop. And so I'm really jealous of Nancy that she has 2 employees now. Well, 2 for a while, right? Until you get through the restaurant loan program, right? My emoji would be the laughing, crying smiley face. And thank you to the speakers. Since this is recorded, people will go back and watch this. So even though we have a small group, it's great that you're here. And I just wanted to say basketball. I saw that in your background, Mark. My boys are Blaine basketball boys. Love it. Love basketball.
Yeah. So I coached youth basketball for about 19 years. And the basketball and the pictures below that, I know the pictures are probably hard to see, but that was the last girls team in Superior that I coached.
Oh,
That was my going away present. Every single one of those pictures is one of them with me, that
oh,
unbeknownst to me. And I will admit that upon my departure from Superior and that party that they threw for me,
you
and
cried.
they handed me that, there was some dust in the air.
Yes, of course. Of course. Yeah, I've been in that world as well, not coaching, but I've been the team mom for over 20 teams, both basketball and football for youth. So it's sad when it's over and when your kids are grown, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
My youngest is a freshman in college, so it's all over for me.
Yeah, it's all over.
All right. Well, thank you, Heidi. Mike Wimmer.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Mike Wimmer. I'm the Mille Lacs County Economic Development Manager. I just wanted to say thanks to the speakers. First presentation was great. I guess my most used emoji, I would echo the thumbs up, although I have a bad habit of really not reading some of the text messages and thumbs upping them, which the other day my wife said she wasn't feeling well, and I just replied with a thumbs up because I was in a meeting. So it's got me in trouble probably more than it's benefited me, frankly.
Those darn emojis. Let me see before I get to anybody else here. Got you. You guys keep skipping around on me. That's the bad part about Zoom is, you just keep skipping around. So I am going to turn it over to my co-host to introduce himself and also tell us what his most used emoji is. We should have a drawing or something and see if anybody could guess it. But Jordan, what is it?
My most used emoji is where the guy's got his tongue hanging out. Most of you, I think everybody here knows me. It's just like, yeah, whatever. So Jordan Zeller with the East Central Regional Development Commission. I do economic development. We cover Chisago, Isanti, Kanabec, Mille Lacs, and Pine County. So we've got 3 of our county's economic developers here, Nancy, Heidi, and Mike on the phone. And we also, many of our cities have economic development staff. I'm kind of the backup for all these folks. So trying to do some stuff on a regional spin, as well as trying to help them out wherever we can. We operate a small business revolving loan fund, keep a regional business assistance directory. I guess the one thing I can mention is, I'm always the dumbest person in the room, but I've got a good Rolodex. If you've got a project, we know who to point you to. You need legal help, you got Legal Corps. You need help with mentorship, it's going to be, it's going to be Dick and his team. If you're looking for, capital and some connections like that, it's Patrick Donahue. East Central Energy has loan funds. A lot of what we do is just getting the right people talking to each other. So if there's anything I can do for you and any of your business connections, just let us know. We're just so happy you're here tonight, and East Central Minnesota is a great place to operate your business. So thank you, folks.
And I'll echo what Jordan said, because that's really what this club is about for the entrepreneurs and inventors is that Rolodex. People wanting to help people out here, people wanting to help people get started. That's what we're here for. That's the resource that we're here for. And we encourage you to contact us. I should have done my own introduction at the start of the meeting, but I failed and decided to wait until now anyhow, but I'm Mark Nelson. I am the manager of government business relations here at East Central Energy. We are one of the co-founders of this club. It came to me through a presentation that we had done here,
This
and
is really going to help score
had the
all these economic development people.
yeah. And we actually had a room full of economic development people, and we had the founder of the Inventors and Entrepreneurs Club, Terry Whipple from Juneau County, Wisconsin, come and talk to us. And it just so happens, I believe it's probably in the archives, Jordan, that we have Terry's, Terry joined us for one of these club meetings and kind of gave us the stories that his club has experienced. He has helped us along the way. We got a little nervous with our turnout back in person, and called Terry and found out he was having the same issues. It ebbs and flows, right? So, and I already alluded to, I probably use the thumbs up way more than I probably should. So.
Last but not least, Linda.
Well, I'm getting there.
Okay.
So Linda's our next speaker, so I thought I'd segue into that and put her on the spot because I can. So Linda Lytala is definitely no stranger to many of you, and she's no stranger to business. Linda is a very accomplished businesswoman and an entrepreneur. And after being successful in the corporate industry, she became president of their own family-run Raven Machine and Tool, a contract job shop that she and her husband own in Mora. And then she sold their business and started Raven Performance Group, which I had the pleasure of sitting in one of her meetings. I had an ulterior motive, but she was kind enough to let me sit in there and steal a little bit of thunder. And she's going to talk to us today about selling your business, what went well and what you do differently. But before that, she's got to do her own little self-introduction, and we want to know what your emoji is. And if I could, please, right after Linda tells us what her emoji is, again, please mute your cameras so our focus can be on the speaker. Thank you.
Well, it's kind of funny. I didn't use a lot of emojis when I started, and so I didn't know there were so many, and so I used the thumbs up a lot, but I didn't always use the thumbs up. It was the middle finger up, and they have that one too. I mean, who knew? You know? So I was giving everybody not what I wanted to express. So the one I use nowadays is kind of roll your eyes. You know, you got the little emoji looking up to the side thinking, oh boy. So yeah, so that's mine. But tonight you're going to hear a story that's going to be pretty candid. It's not necessarily my finest moment, but I'll share it with you anyway, because I would like other people not to hear so much about, or other people to learn from our mistakes. And that's the whole premise behind Raven Performance Group, is you don't have to make every mistake in the world. You can learn from other people who have and avoid them. So the paradox of selling a business. And I use paradox because it's a statement that on one side sounds really good, and the other side is almost contradictory, you know, so it's the yin and the yang of things. And that's how selling a business is. Most small businesses don't start because somebody loves running a business. Most start because somebody loves what they do, and then a business happens. And I think that Dick Jordan talked about that today. All of a sudden it happens, and then you need some structure and things need to go on. Well, Raven Machine and Tool was in business 23 years. And when we decided to sell it, it was pretty quick. We we didn't know anything about selling a business. We'd never done it. It was the largest, for sure, transaction any business owner ever makes in their lives. And so we spiffed up the building and we made everything look nice. And so when you want to sell your business and put your business on the market, you want to look pretty good. Well, unbeknownst to you, this is what it looks like to prospective buyers. Because they look at you and they see all the pot marks and all the things that don't fit exactly what they want or what they need. And they also always want to pay something less than what you're asking for it. And today there are lots of formulas. I did not know any formulas. I didn't do any research on how to sell a business. We talked to our accountant about it, but he was a small town accountant, did not really understand how you position a business for sale and the financials. So it was a learning experience. But when you think about selling your business, you think, oh, I'm going to get all this money and not any morning meetings and no more 16-hour days and no more people issues and no more banking issues. I'm going to travel. I'm going to live the life of ease. And what really selling your business is like that. So it's like running with your mouth wide open in a mosquito storm. Lots of people sell their businesses and for lots of different reasons. For instance, you know, the retirement, the things you all hear about. They've taken their business as far as they could. It started to decline. Concerns about the industry changes. They receive an offer too good to refuse. They want to do something different or personal matters, or it's just time. When we decided to sell our business in 1999, the end of 1998, our sales were up. We were really doing a lot of work. We had great contracts. We were profitable, had been for quite a while, but we would have needed about $1 million to upgrade the equipment that we had in our machine shop just to stay competitive. Because at that time, so much of the work was going over to China or down to Mexico, and we were competing in markets we didn't even know. So it was time for us to sell. My husband did not want to go that much in debt at that time in his life. And so we decided, well, let's sell it. Everything's good. We'll get out of debt. You know, it's a good thing. But as I've already told you, we made every mistake in the book and more. I didn't financially prepare my business for sale. In the first week on the market, we had 36 customers interested or prospective buyers. 18 signed non-disclosure agreements. Our broker was amazed at how much interest we had gotten. 5 or 6 of the prospective buyers actually came for tours and kicked the tires and looked at our financials. 6 months into the process of selling our business, the economy took a serious dip. Contracts that we had counted on that had been there for years were moved out or canceled. Our customers were suddenly not as firm as they once were. 57 weeks into the selling process, we were battle weary, discouraged, and drained. You can imagine keeping your makeup on every day, waiting for the bridegroom to come, and it never happens. We used a total of 5 different brokers in those 18 months, which was ridiculous, but maybe the next one will do better. Maybe the next one will do better. At the end of it, we were really grasping at straws. If I had known when we went to sell our business what I know now, I certainly would have gotten my accountant and our lawyer involved up front before listing the business for sale. I would have had an end game. I was I was doing sales for my company. So I thought when I turn it over to a broker, he's going to sell my company. Not true. They will position your company and put it out in front of prospective customers, but you, the owner, has to sell your company to those prospective buyers. You have to sell them on the dream of what they want when they walk in your door. I knew nothing about that. I was really proud of my business. I mean, I had 20, on the average of 20 employees, higher and lower at times. In Mora, we were a pretty big fish in a little pond. And we had all those employees. They were good paying jobs in a small town. I was really proud of that. Unfortunately, what I did, some of the buyers wanted to move my business to the Twin Cities because it would have fit with their company. But I listened to my employees. You know, I knew that they wouldn't want to go to the Twin Cities. And at that time, there were plenty of employees available, unlike today. So I turned down or poo-pooed a couple of those buyers that I've kicked myself for later. I would have looked harder to find a right fit broker. You really have to mesh with the broker. He has to become, or she has to become, your best friend. And as you're talking about selling your business, you have to sell that person on the dream so that they can sell their clients on the dream. And you have to have a really good relationship with them. And had I known, again, and I would have not, had I understood what a successful sale looked like, I would have not placed barriers in front of potential buyers. Well, we're not interested in moving. We're not interested in that. Do you hear me banging my head against my desk? Dumb, dumb, dumb. But we did some things right. What we did right is we had a three shift, 24-hour a day organization that worked. In a small town, that's really hard to create. We had clearly defined and written work processes. We did the same thing. We had setup reduction just in time. We were doing all that and more. We embraced computers long before other companies did our size. We were sending computers from our engineering department down to the machines before anyone else did, and to our quality control department. We were leading edge. Although our equipment was older, we had a documented preventative maintenance schedule on each machine, and we worked it. So they might have been old, they were good, they just weren't fast. Kind of like me these days, you know? Our customer list was gold. We had Fortune 500 customers. We were able to get that kind of work, and we were fortunate. And we served a unique market. Not everyone liked to machine cast iron. It's heavy. We had big parts. We could machine parts that were in a 5-foot cube. Not everybody could do that. And it was hard work, but we did it, and we did it well. And we had a team second to none. We had the management team, which was myself, my general manager, my quality, and my financial person. And we ran that business. Each of us knew how to run it if one of the others dropped out. It was built on talent and trust. And that was done right. But hindsight is 20/20. Don't you wish you had a pair of glasses like that? Here's what I do next time. First of all, I'd educate myself on business. But back in 2000, they didn't have podcasts. You didn't know what you didn't know. These are 2 podcasts that I would highly recommend to people: Intentional Growth and Built to Sell. Both of these are how do you structure the sale of your business. They're excellent. Intentional Growth, Arcona is the name of the company there, and they're a local company down in Minneapolis, Woodbury. So he's great. I'd learn more about exit options. For instance, there are 5 ways. According to Arcona, there are 5 kinds of buyers. There's internal transfer, where you have somebody in your company that wants to buy, and then you figure out how that works. You have acquisition entrepreneurs, other people like yourself. They're like people that want to go out and they maybe want to own, like Dick Jordan talked about tonight. Those buyers might own 5 different companies and they put a president in each one. You might want to start an ESOP. Many companies in St. Cloud have ESOPs and around the country, so the employees own it. You can sell to a private equity firm that could see the possibilities in your company. And finally, there are strategic buyers. Say one of my customers wanted to purchase my company so that we would do all of their parts and we'd be a captive shop for them. That could be that too. And each of those buyers have their pros and cons. And I learned about that through taking a course through Arcona. They have a digital course that they sell to people that you can take that course and learn all about how to sell your company much better. I would have found someone to help 3 years before I wanted to sell. And tonight, Dick said 5 years, and that wouldn't have been bad either. But 3 years at the very minimum. These are the guys from Arcona. And you might think that with all of that interest and all of those people that wanted to see your company, by the time it was over, I just thought it wasn't ever going to get over. There
Linda,
was so
can I
much
interrupt you
interest.
for a second?
Yes,
Are you sharing slides?
yes.
Okay, I'm not seeing them.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry. When you said, "Oh, these guys," and I'm going, "Wait a minute, what guys?"
All right.
There you go.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to start all over again. But what I am going to do is I'll flip through them very quickly. Could I do
That'd be
that?
great. That'd be great. Thank you. I'm sorry I didn't catch that earlier. I was kind of waiting for you to say, "Oh, and here's my slides." I thought you were still sorry.
Oh, no, no. I was seeing them on my computer and I didn't see anyone. So that's
All
the assume. That's why I have the rolling eyes emoji.
right. Well, thank you, Linda, and please, sorry for the interruption, but I'm glad we have your slides up now. They look
Oh,
beautiful.
yes. Thanks. So there's that, and small businesses. This was my company. So I thought it looked really nice and great. Unfortunately, that is what other people think it looks like. So, and that's what you think your life is going to be like when you sell your business and you're living the life of Riley. That's what it's really like. The reasons people sell their business, the machines that needed to be upgraded. These machines cost $700,000 a piece, and we had 3 of them in our shop. We made every mistake in the book. And if I had known then what I know now. But the things that we did right, and I have to keep telling myself we did do some things right. These are the hindsight glasses that I wish that everybody could have. And these are the podcasts that I recommend. They are great. They each put one out every week, and intentional growth is about an hour. Built to sell is almost that long. And I'd learn about exit options. These are the 5 that I told you about. Here's where I was, I think. These are Ryan Tansom and Pat Hobby from Arcona. And they also have a division of Arcona that has CFOs that will come into your company and look at your financial statements and position them, you know, take out the things that are going, the expenses that'll be gone when you're gone, help you structure them so that it looks better to a potential buyer. There's an art in that, and it's worth whatever they are asking to pay. And so that's the last of my slides.
Well, I'm sorry I caught you right at the end there with your slides, Linda. I do
Oh.
apologize. It was just I was really into what you were saying, and I thought, okay, she's going to show her slides now, because she's, you know, I just thought you were kind of generally talking, and so I
Oh, no
apologize for that. So I heard you say something about, you know, back in 1999, you know, Zoom wasn't available,
That's right.
you know. So think about this, 1999, anybody know what their cell phone looked like?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody remember the Nokia cell phone or the Ericsson or Motorola, right? If you handed that to a kid today, they would not know how to operate it, because it was just that, it was a phone. And I don't even know if you could do texting on it. I guarantee you I did not. So, but you know, Heidi made a comment here, and Linda, Heidi, you nailed it spot on. You know, and I think that's really what, I really think that's what this club is for, is telling the truth. That, you know, you were pretty candid about, we did some things wrong. We did a lot of things wrong,
Did everything wrong.
you know, and but that's what people need to hear. And like you said, you know, learning from others' mistakes. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. Okay. So, all right. Linda, from Heidi, we heard Rebecca of the North Central SBDC that in-person succession planning events don't work well because business owners don't want to share their plans in public. What are your thoughts on that?
They don't want to share their plans in public.
That is correct.
Okay.
She just said that they've been trying to hold succession planning events in person, and they haven't worked very well for the North Central SBDC, mainly because the business owners who are trying to plan for selling their business, they want to keep that info under wraps, and they kind of want to be more anonymous, so they don't want to go to, you know, public training events specifically in person. So that's what I was asking about.
Okay. Number one thing is you don't want to let your employees know that you're selling your business. You know, as soon as they find out, they start quitting and going other places, and you lose a real asset in your company. So you have to keep that under wraps. And I understand in a small community, the owner goes to it, it gets out. So I understand what she's saying.
Yep. Great. Patrick has a question for you. He's curious about your inner circle and your experience running peer groups.
When I left Raven Machine and Tool, I had a contract that I had to stay with them for a year. And I found that I am not a good employee. It's hard for me to work for anybody else again. So I was a member of an inner circle, which was a franchise at that time, down in Eden Prairie, or down in Edina. So once a month I would go to these, and they were so valuable to me, talking to other business owners and hearing what they said, and these were confidential sessions. So Heidi, it just made me think that if those sessions that people don't want to come to could be made confidential, who's ever in there, that might take one of the barriers away. Because we don't really have any place else to go and talk to other business owners and learn what works and what doesn't, and how are you finding employees, and are you making them take, are you making them get vaccinated, and do you wear masks in your shop? Where do you get that information? Because you're so busy running your business, you don't have time. So that's the beauty of the inner circles. And today, because it's no longer a franchise, it's Raven Roundtables, but it's the same peer group philosophy. Did that answer your question, Patrick?
Yeah, that was terrific. And I was just, so if I heard you right, Inner Circle doesn't exist anymore. And then you kind of, when that dissolved or whatever happened to that, you kept your table or tables going, and super cool. And then what does Raven look like today? And kind of what's the, like, how many tables are you running, or how many people are involved, and then kind of like, what's the scope of it? In the background, Linda, is I'm very big into peer groups. Like, I'm a member of EO. I've looked at Vistage. I'm a huge fan. We ask all of our portfolio companies, or companies that come to us, like in underwriting stuff, if they're a member of something, we really don't have an opinion of what, but if they're a member of something, we're always pointing people in that direction. So yeah, I kind of wanted to learn more about Raven Performance Group.
I have 6 roundtables across central Minnesota, but the newest one that I just started is called Young Hawks, and it's younger entrepreneurs, always Zoom. So I have one of my entrepreneurs actually runs his business from an RV as he travels around the country with his family. Very cool. And then I've got some companies here in the Twin Cities, and I've got another one that I'm talking to in a different state right now. So it can be anywhere.
That's super cool. And then are your, I would imagine everybody's meeting on Zoom, but are most of the tables meeting in central Minnesota? And then I was also kind of curious about, like, are you meeting once a month and then do larger events every so often, or kind of like what would be that member experience is maybe the question.
Well, it's kind of off topic, and maybe I could talk to you afterward if other people have questions about selling a business. But in a nutshell, yes, we meet once a month, and it was all on Zoom, but starting in June, we are going to in-person meetings. And then for the ones that we can. And then I have one big event right now, and then smaller speaker events throughout the year.
Super cool.
Okay, thank you. Linda, I really hate to do this, but could you stop sharing your screen?
Didn't I? Oh.
I was
Thank you.
I was late telling you to share it, and now I'm early telling you to stop sharing, I guess. But
You'd think I just fell off the pumpkin wagon on Zoom, wouldn't you? Jeez.
And people, by all means, come back on camera so we can see your faces again. I have a couple questions.
Okay.
And my first one is, looking back, besides what you did wrong, have you and Elmer looked back and said, wished we would have made that $1 million investment?
Elmer never did. He knew that wasn't the right decision for him. And at that time, I don't know.
Still some soup, Princess? Thank you.
I don't know if I could have gotten the financing as a woman in business alone, But yeah, I've often wondered, I love manufacturing. I love the smell of coolant. I like the people that work in manufacturing. I like making things and selling things. I love manufacturing.
Yeah. So Jordan was in line at the local Hardee's there, but do you want some fries with that, Jordan? Um, you know, he's pulled that one on a few people, so I'm glad I could actually return the favor and pull it on him for once. But to all of you out there, I've known Linda for a number of years now, and you know, I just can't picture Linda in a machine shop. I can't picture Linda walking through a machine shop because she's always dressed really nice, you know, and to think that she was on the floor throwing parts around, and I know you did a lot of the sales work and whatnot. I can't picture it, Linda. I'm sorry. So we're gonna need video proof at some point, or at least I am. But my next question is okay, Elmer was okay with getting rid of it and whatnot, but I'll bet you he didn't sit still though, did he? I mean, he's not sitting back in the easy chair saying, so what about it? What's Elmer doing? We know what you're doing. What's Elmer doing?
Elmer is, even right now, building a sauna, a wood log sauna in his backyard, a Finnish sauna to go with his Finnish heritage. But in between then and now, my husband's an inventor. He, you know, has done so many things. He's invented scope mount systems for guns, and he's made utility tractor rakes and just all kinds of different things that he likes to do. So no, he never sat still, but
And I knew he didn't, so I had to leave that question though. So
Yeah.
Patrick, again, Linda, and Pat, I appreciate it. Trust me. Were you ever tempted to buy another business? I'm assuming after they sold their business, and Patrick's affirming that. So were you tempted?
Getting into a manufacturing business, the cost of entry is just so high that not a manufacturing business. And actually, Inner Circle was a franchise, so I did buy that.
That's true. I had one more question and it escaped me here. I apologize.
I have a question.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Nancy.
Who's hi,
Nancy.
Nancy.
Linda, what would you recommend somebody does if they're looking to buy a manufacturing business? I have somebody who's been looking for quite some time, and any advice would be great.
There are so many different kinds of manufacturing businesses. I have a whole roundtable full of manufacturing businesses, none of who compete. There are finishers, there's machiners, there's people who saw, there's people, who make a product. I would suggest that the person know what kind of a manufacturing business would build on the skills that they have. If they're looking for a product, then they need to know how to cost out products, and if that's the kind of background they have. Or if they're looking to be a piece in the machine, in the supply chain, like my company was. That's a totally different kind of business. But they're pretty capital intensive. And they require skilled people, which are very hard to find today.
Thank you, Linda. Michelle, was that you that had a question?
Yeah, I just was wondering if, so we have a family member who is young and interested in possibly purchasing a business or working their way into an existing family business. Where would you tell them to start? What would your advice be to them?
Dick Jordan had some good ideas when he talked about going to the library. There is a you can find out what businesses are how old, when a business was established. You might find something that a company that's been in business 20 years, 25 years, and find out how big it is and look at the people in that business. I'd use a program called Reference USA to do that. And it really breaks down your companies that way. And then I'd, maybe look on LinkedIn and find out if there's any people and if how old they are, if it's a first generation. Find something that really trips their trigger and have an informational interview with that person and say, I'm interested in buying a company like yours, or buying into a company someday that, or working at a company that someday I might buy into. And if someone would do that for you, what would you think? What barriers will I find? What questions? I guess that's what I do.
Sure, thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions for Linda? Not that we won't see Linda again, because she's attended darn near every one of these.
I think almost.
Mhm.
I have more off topic, but
Go ahead, Patrick.
so Linda, I was curious about your experience with Rain Capital and so forth. Like I always thought that model was like super cool, because it was kind of like the ability to kind of seed localized angel groups and so on and so forth. And so I'm just kind of curious, kind of like what your experience was there and what worked, what didn't work, so on and so forth.
Oh my God, I loved Rain Source Capital. That was so much fun. Well, and for those of you who don't know, or maybe some of you do, it was Regional Angel Investment Networks. And we would, Steve Mersil was the president, and we started by making investments in companies, just like, a venture capitalist would. But then we landed on the idea of actually going to Alexandria and other cities like that, where they have a base of successful entrepreneurs, and saying, we'd like to grow more successful entrepreneurs. Would you kick some money into a venture capital fund? We'll teach you how to invest. We'll present some opportunities to you. And if you'd like to invest in those opportunities, then it's right in your community and you help make your community stronger. I think it was labor intensive. The money came with lots of strings. And I think what was finally done with that is that it was rolled into Frank Altman's fund, and they do some of that, what was left of the money and how they resourced it. But yeah, that was actually growing capital in communities where successful businesses had been. That was so much fun. We would hear all the deals, and yeah, I liked it.
Patrick, did you have another one?
Nope, I'm good. Yeah, I was just kind of curious about that. I always thought it was such a cool model, and I never kind of knew what became of it or happened, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Steve Mersil in 2 or 3 years, but I think he got married and moved to Wisconsin with his true love. Last I heard.
All right.
All right. If there are no further questions for Linda, first order of business is, thank you, Linda.
You're welcome. Thank you. I apologize for the screen.
No, that's my fault. I should have caught that earlier. But I'm going to try this, and Patrick, as long as you're still on unmute, I pulled up a couple of things here, and I would like you to maybe just talk about them for a second. First one should be, can you see it? Or can you see it now?
Looks like you're.
1 million cups.
Yeah, so 1 million cups, there's about 200 groups throughout the United States. And so if one just went to 1millionccups.com, people can apply. By the way, I should point out there's somebody that's trying to get one started in the Arrowhead region. I think they're out of Virginia. But there's also 1 million cups in Wilmer, Winona, Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and in the Twin Cities has a Minneapolis St. Paul chapter. So they're throughout. It's all, there is no checkbook. There is no money. The Kauffman Foundation owns the name, so we just get to use the website, and they give us some swag to hand out, like you see the coffee cups in people's hands. We meet every Wednesday, 9 a.m., and I organize the Eden Prairie group when I quit going downtown St. Paul. And so it's fabulous. And so I just encourage, like, if there's a business, like, let's say that they need to build relationships in Arkansas for, because they've got customers there, they could go apply to, some of the chapters that might be throughout Arkansas. So it's really cool when people take advantage of the 1 Million Cups network. But it's like our club here with East Central Minnesota, it's all volunteer based. And so, it's just people in the background making it happen. Happy to answer any questions. And if anybody knows anyone, that wants to apply, I'll get them on the calendar personally. And then Entrepreneurs Rally, this is an awesome event. This is the 9th event. It's kind of the who's who of entrepreneurs in Minnesota. We have about 50 mentors. And so in the past, of course, like the background picture there shows that we'd rent out a big hall, and our entrepreneurs organization would rent out a big hall, and it'd be a few hundred people that would show up, and they do roundtable mentoring. This year it's on May 26th, and it's being hosted online from 3 to 5. And so there'll be, you'll be able to, people will be able to come and join a room. So if they see a mentor or somebody they want to meet, they can go jump in that room. And then it's set up on a platform called Hopin, which will allow people to go off and talk privately as well. So it's a little bit of an enhanced experience from Zoom to kind of mimic that conference feel. So if we want to do something like partner up or send something out, we could do promo codes and stuff like that too, now that I'm thinking about it. But I think tickets are $35. But if we wanted to do something where you send it out to the East Central Minnesota, like a distribution list, we could probably get a promo code or something like that too. So trying to partner with people wherever possible to spread the word. And that's just hosted by Entrepreneurs Organization, which is a nonprofit membership group of entrepreneurs.
And we're happy to email blast that out, Patrick. If you want any of this kind of info sent out, you know where to send it.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that'd be great. I'm happy I thought about that tonight, because
we are too, and putting it on our East Central Minnesota INE website be great.
Yeah, because obviously being online, anybody, super easy, better than driving downtown Minneapolis. So
I know our email distribution list is not terrific off that site, to encourage more people to send their friends and register to receive our emails. But as Jordan said it before the top of the hour, we are getting quite a few hits on our recordings. So, we have about 10, 12 people in the room here, but we're getting 3-4 times that much actually going back and watching the videos. So,
oh my gosh, I just thought of something that Heidi brought up. So similar on how people are reluctant to come to events that are around selling their business for obvious reasons, because they don't want to flag to employees or the community that's happening. I was at an event in Albert Lea with a co-working space downtown Albert Lea, and the founders of that talked about the same issue of people being reluctant to come out to their entrepreneur meetup events, because a lot of the entrepreneurs are people that have full-time jobs, and they don't want their employer in town to think that they're out moonlighting and doing something different. And it kind of hit me. I wonder if there's a little bit of that happening here as well, where people might be, yeah. So,
Well,
and that's why maybe more people watch the recordings. Yeah.
could be. And Heidi knows this because she was in attendance, and so was Jordan when Terry Whipple was here at our EDA gathering at East Central back on a Halloween Eve day. I don't even remember how long ago that was now, 2-3 years ago. But, Terry talked about his first meeting and all these inventors that showed up. And they had their inventions in a bag and wrapped up, and but he couldn't get anybody to talk.
Nobody will talk and
No
show it.
inventor wanted to talk. They didn't want to say anything because we got this thing. We know we got something, but we don't know what to do with it, and we're not going to open our mouth because he might steal my idea. And I believe Terry's message that evening, and I've heard him say it more than once, was, you're all a bunch of inventors, but when it comes to marketing and getting your product out there, you suck. You're not a type A personality.
The line I liked, somebody, I think it was Brad Feld, the venture capitalist, said, he goes, if you're also lucky that somebody would actually want to steal your idea.
Yeah. But I do think too, another thing that Terry talked about, I don't know, we had been at this about 7-8 months and got Terry on the line again with us and kind of asked him what he was experiencing. It also has to do with the economy and what the jobs are out there. And I know right now there are several places, at least in my area, that, they have jobs available. And when jobs are available, people don't take the risk. People don't take the gamble. But when the economy is bad, that's when they're going to dust off that invention or that idea and bring it out and want to do something with it.
Yeah.
So I do feel like, the economy that we're in, even though, there are people on furlough or laid off or working from home or whatnot, people are still hiring. Companies are still hiring and they're begging for workers. Last month we had Bob Thompson here. Well, what did Bob talk about? He does not take the now hiring sign off the front door right now. So yeah, other ideas, but I know, and I've said this, I think you've all heard me say it at least once. I have the entrepreneurial spirit, but I don't have the entrepreneurial risk. I love what I do here. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur and start my own business, but I sit here and look at how well I do have it, how good my job is, and how secure I am in my job. And do I really want to roll those dice? But I can tell you this. If the economy tanked tomorrow and my job was in jeopardy, I would probably look at taking that risk, right? What else am I going to do? So, all right, I'm off my soapbox. Anybody else for our speakers, for each other? We haven't had one of these in a little while. I know we're probably 4 minutes past the hour and a half mark here, but I'm having a good time here tonight and enjoying the conversation. I know we've gotten off track, but it's great discussion.
Well, Mark, I'll just second what you said. The work we're doing and us being here tonight is so important, and people being able to watch the recording and stuff like that. But this work is so important, and I've had to keep that in mind. Like 1 Million Cups, you host an event, and especially when we're getting together in person, like make coffee and get there early and all that type of stuff, and then 5 people show up, and it's it's like, okay, what am I doing? Why am I doing this and stuff? It's like, okay, keep grinding it out, because and then someday 50 people show up. But then more importantly, it's like over time, like the stories of the connections have been mind blowing of what people have been able to connect the dots on. So the work we do to give people safe spaces to learn is super, super important.
And that's what we're here. Look at Linda's story, right? I know, Jordan, you had an event not long ago. Actually, I guess it was before COVID hit. up at the ECRDC office about the U of M was there talking about succession planning, selling your business. And I was amazed at the number of businesses that were attended that, you know. And yeah, I mean, great story, Linda, timely story, I think, because I think, you know, when, I'm going to say when, and it'll be soon that we get out of this, there are going to be some people that are probably going to say, you know, I've just had enough and the business is for sale. So I'd like to encourage the folks listening to the recording and whatnot that, you know, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are an inventor and looking for help, looking for assistance, where do you go? What do you have to do? By all means, get a hold of any one of us here this evening. Visit our website, shoot us an email, send us a text, give us the thumbs up text, of course. And you know, get a hold of us. Jordan, you had your hand up, sir.
I was going to say, if everybody's got their calendars out, I'd like you to put something on there. ECRDC holds every other year our Financial Resource Summit right after Labor Day at the golf course, Springbrook Golf Course in Mora in the morning. Doors open at 7:30 a.m. to 9 speakers. Following that, networking, golf, and cornhole. That is coming up on Wednesday, September 8th. We have reserved the date. For those who are comfortable going live, our game plan is to do it live. And if you're not comfortable doing it live, we're gonna webcast it, do a hybrid model. So you're welcome to participate in any way you would like to. We'll be doing RSVP sheets here over the summer. More info coming out on speakers, but we have reserved the date. Wednesday, the 8th of September, that morning, Springbrook Golf Course in the big town of Mora. Thank you.
No problem. Anybody else here that has something that they would like to bring to the group? And, you know, we haven't had a good, you know, usually we've closed the meeting here at East Central in person. And I tell everybody that I'm going to start cleaning up and they have 20 minutes to talk while I clean up, and then I kick them out. We haven't had a good conversation, or, you know, hey, just a casual sidebar conversation since we went virtual. I'd like to try it now. If somebody's got something they would just want to talk about, chat about with somebody.
I will mention too, kind of related, that the ECRDC has received a grant from the federal EDA to do 0% interest loans for small businesses. Really kind of the liquidity kind of stuff. Yes, we can do equipment and fixed equipment and inventory and those kind of things. But interest rates, 0%, no payments for 6 months. Nancy Hoffman is the chair of our loan committee on that. But Michelle, she's kind of our loan fund manager, so you can talk to her, myself, or Nancy. But happy to do that. Average loan, $30,000, $40,000. We didn't get a ton of money, so we're trying to spread the love around. But if you know of anybody looking for financing, let us know. We'll do startups as well, but know that this can be used for kind of greasing the gears, trying to keep things going here until summer hits and money starts flowing in.
Great, thank you, sir. Anybody else for the good of the order? I'm scrolling across looking. Dick, are you still with us? If you can come off mute. Maybe not. All right, well, I'm not seeing anybody else. But again, Linda, Dick, thank you very much for your presentations. I enjoyed it. I'm sure everybody that watches will enjoy it, as well as those that participated tonight. Everybody, thank you for attending this evening. It was enjoyable. Glad to see you. Hopefully someday, soon, we can all have an in-person meeting and actually shake hands and give hugs and everything else. with that, stay tuned. Watch your email for the next event of the East Central Minnesota INE Club. And with that, good night, everybody.
Good night.
And I'm going to do one more thing. So, Dick, there used to be a TV personality anchor in the Duluth area, and he closed his broadcast every night with "Good night, everybody, and be kind."
Good way to go out.